became really popular on, podcast and
Right.
through like Comic-Con and stuff like that. And they started
Kevin
making
Smith.
yeah, they you know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
They started making money by going around and selling out venues and just like talking. So like you and I would do like a live show and we'd sell out tickets for it. I don't know what we'd do, but like it'd be fucking sweet. Like we'd have like a Lost in the Groove experience. You'd
Where
come to
Dave would be only wearing underwear.
I don't know, like we could do anything. Like it would be like a live Lost in the Groove. So people would buy tickets and you'd go there, you know?
Great way for you people to spend your money is watching me smoke a joint. Wearing clothes I've owned for almost 11 and a half years.
Oh my god, how long have you been recording?
Long enough for you not to notice. Hey, everybody, and welcome to American Groove. Lost in the Groove segment, hosted by yours truly, Dave, and...
Your other host, Carissa.
I told
Don't
you, we
sound
have to get into the groove first, and then we can record.
sure. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to pay attention that David starts recording before I know. So what I was talking
Not
about was this
bad.
beautiful idea, like in the future,
Yes.
where we have a Lost in the Groove experience
Can I add, this
that people
whole
can have.
conversation started with one question that I asked. I said, do you think in the next 5 years we would make $500 from the podcast? And then you responded, what about you're about to say? Yes, go on.
I said no.
Oh, you said
Do
no.
you remember that? I was like, no.
I
You
forgot
were
about
like,
that part.
You're like, "Do you think we're gonna make $500 in the podcast?" I was like, "No." But also, like, yes, like, why not? Like, why not? Of
Why
course.
not? We need money for
Yeah.
our weed. Like, somebody's got to pay for it. Let somebody else pay for it.
We'll figure something out. But what I said
Yeah.
was that we might make money from other things, just from, like, what I've worked with in the entertainment industry. There can be other ways that money comes your way, than the actual, like, recording itself. Um, I mean, I'm not here for money, but at
I'm
the
just here for the
same
weed.
at the same time I want the podcast to keep going, and I know that anything that helps the podcast lets it continue. So I want the podcast to grow and like become more and more stable. And I know that like the podcast making a little bit of something adds to that. So it's important that it does have some type of stability to it, regardless
Right.
of how stupidly I care little about money. I
Yes.
just I don't give a fuck.
So to any new listeners that are here and experiencing American Groove for the very first time, be sure to like and subscribe. So you can definitely like figure out. And here's like actual an example of like we're growing with you, like you're growing with us. So tag along. I'm just like that is the whole idea, though. For us to grow, is we have to grow ourselves. Like we have to evolve ourselves.
Yeah, like when I leave every day for work, I tell Louis, I love you more than money, but if it weren't for money, we wouldn't have a home.
Yeah,
When
true.
it's the
Very
same
true.
thing with the podcast where it's like I love the podcast more than money, but if it weren't for money, we wouldn't have a podcast. So it's like the same thing. Like the podcast is not free. Like it genuinely does cost money to make it.
It costs me right
Yeah.
now about $50 a month to keep running.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did make like a merch. Well, David made a merch while I yelled at him about ideas.
And we
I don't
collaborated
yell.
about it.
it's hard for me to get my ideas out, so sometimes they come out like,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
I'm like, choose the socks. It's really bad.
Oh my god. But we worked together, we made a really cool bandana because we're both owners of fur babies, okay? We have Chris has a dog, Louie, which is an adorable black muffin pug, that's what we're calling him, and then I have
Muffin
Twix,
plug.
muffin pug, and I have Twix, that's this little caramel Twix bar you just want to munch, 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 and we made a
Really
bandana.
powerful.
We made a really cool bandana that you can put on your little fur babies, or you want to just tie up your hair, or be cool and have it hanging out of your motorcycle pair of jeans. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, it's a bandana. It's a
It's
Lost in the
really
Groove
cool.
bandana. It's
Yes,
got
it
our
is.
logo on it. I'm gonna put one on Louis and take some pictures of it and stuff. That's one of our beautiful pieces of Lost in the Groove merch. It has our logo with the pot leaves, so you got some pot leaves
Right
on
here.
it.
Right
Yeah,
here.
it's kind of fun. Anyways, it's a cool thing to go look at, and it's like good for us to have, our name all over things. It's a
Yes.
pretty
And
thing.
you get to plaster it all over. Like, listen, Chris is in LA, okay, and I'm here in Florida. Like if you're out in LA and you're listening to this, go order some goddamn stickers, okay, and start plastering them on your favorite bars, your like favorite hangs. Because guess what? We can't be shared if you ain't gonna share it.
Ooh, I want to do another sticker sometime with we should have like our own QR code that
Yeah.
like that way when people like see it like around, they're like, what the fuck is this? They can like scan it with their phone.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Would really cool if the barcode was a shape of a mushroom or a weed leaf. That would
Can
be
you
really
do
cool.
that?
I think so. Yeah, if it's a QR code that you scan with your phone, I believe so.
I like the idea of us having a QR code of our own. I think it's really,
Yeah.
like, futuristic and strange and cool. And I've also been, like, always kinda like, QR codes are stupid, but then maybe I would like them if we had our own.
People thought about people when QR codes came to development in the 1960s. That's actually yeah, like literally. That's how old it is. And they started becoming part of the commercial market throughout the 1970s. People were like terrified. Believe it or not, actually, that this is how we record collectors can tell if a record is from that era or not. If there's a barcode in the back of it, they only started putting those in the very early 80s. So I've been duped a few times. So I'm like,
Mm.
bro, this is not a first print. Yes, yes, that's a first print Rolling Stone. There's a barcode in the back of it. They didn't have barcodes in 66, bro. Like,
Yeah, there's no barcodes. I
no. I
I
don't remember the
you
year,
you
but
and I
yeah.
have had a lot of experience with barcodes because
Yes,
of
we
our
have. We have.
had a lot of experience with barcodes, like, in my retail experience, but
Hmm.
also with, like, working for your brother and doing product listing, there was a lot of, like, barcode searching, and figuring out, like, and there's so much information linked to barcodes, but
We
I heard
take it we take it for granted. Like, really think about this. Barcodes are
oof.
one of the most crucial parts of the known world that we have now. I mean, think about it. It's a code that holds data information at your fingertips. There's no need of writing things down or anything. It does it in a matter of a millisecond. It's just some another part of our life that we take for granted that we don't really think about too often. I liked talking and thinking about those things because they're
What, the
really
things that
important.
we look past?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Traffic lights, seat belts,
I
a lot
wanted
of
to
things.
share that there was a woman that I worked for who owned, like, a cosmetics company, and she was, like, turning her cosmetics company into, like, it's gonna be in the store on the shelves, and she had to go through the process of buying barcodes for everything that she has as far as
Right.
product, and it was hell, because she did it herself. I think, like, maybe it is just hell in general, but somebody else is like that's their job or whatever, but, like,
It's
she, like
different now. Like
she no, no,
they have
no, this was not long ago, this was, like, a few years
oh,
ago.
no
Her biggest
way.
her complaint well, I think because she did it herself, she found out
Okay.
everything herself about it,
Right.
and
Okay.
so she
Okay.
found out that there's this one family that, like, owns, like, serial codes. There's this one family that, like, created it and patented the barcodes, like, you can only get it from this one company, and they own everything about it, and they
And a
have
numeric it's a
forever.
numeric system. That's what it is. It's a numeric serial
She was
system.
like, "There's only one person you can get it from." I was like, "Oh my fucking god." And she was like, "They've made an entire monopoly on it," because it's like, I don't know, it reminds me of,
They have
Ti
every right to. Like the
Time Warner
Waltons.
Cable.
Time
I
Warner
don't
Cable is another one.
know, it's just like, yeah, but there doesn't leave a lot of, like, I mean, what if you can't afford it, I just think that sometimes the systems are so, like, highly developed, like, of the way that we, like, sell things and market things and,
Well, that's where QR codes come in, and that's why the future of QR codes may be more beneficial because QR codes.
well, you and I can just go online and have a QR code
Correct.
made, and that's
Correct.
the way
Not
that
a
it should
barcode.
be. Yeah, it's not a barcode, like, we're not
No.
trying to, like, legit put a barcode on something, but I wonder if, like, they'll, make QR codes kind of, like, out of your grasp at some point too.
Probably
There's no money connected to our QR
no,
code.
but the thing about barcodes, the difference between a barcode and a QR code
Yeah.
is a QR code, because of technology and because of programming, and now with artificial intelligence, told you about the shapes, you're able to take a set of ones and zeros, format it, and then you're able to scan it and actually be able to pull up that information, whether it be a website or anything. Where a barcode goes through that one database. You remember you said that one family that owns
Yeah.
everything.
One.
It pulls up that information from their database. So this allows an open source, allows all kinds of people to come into the QR scene and develop their own softwares and programs. So you're right, there could be a monopoly of one main company everybody goes to, but it's very difficult for one person to shadow and silence everyone. I
Yeah.
just rambled.
No, I think it's good. It's a complete thought. Yesterday Dave and I were supposed to podcast, but I think we both decided that we had a lot of personal things happening.
Yeah, it was a weird day.
I cleaned my apartment like craziness,
I
which hasn't
saw.
happened for a long time. I got cracked out, not on real crack, but
We wish.
I went I went to the dog park, in the evening. Well, first, I drank a Red Bull and took a nap, okay?
Whoa, that's
Um,
interesting. Interesting
yeah,
combination.
I woke up, I can't even remember what I went to go run errands or something, and I bought dog food. I got $10 off my dog food, which
Right.
is pretty cool,
Yeah, so instead
and
of it being like $80, it was like 70.
instead of it being 70, it was 60
Oh,
is the
excuse
truth.
me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. Same shit.
So, I was supposed to come home and podcast, I got a Red Bull, I was, like, all jazzed to go. I come home, I drank this Red Bull, I pass out for a nap. I did let Dave know I was passing out for a nap, which was good of me. And then I wake up from my nap and Dave is like, "I'm taking a nap." And I was like, "Okay." And so the sun is still out after I've taken my nap, which is just amazing. Like, I can't even understand that. And I go to the park and I still have, like, hours upon hours of daylight left. And Louis gets to play with other pugs, and it's just, like, amazing. For, like, a couple hours, I'm just, like, having the best time ever. And then I run into one of my friends, and he has, like, he's always got stuff to smoke. So we're, like, walking around smoking and stuff at the dog park or whatever, and he's, like, got some candy and stuff, and he, like, hands me candy, and I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "You got Jolly Ranchers? Yummy." Like, I had the most ridiculous munchies. On the way to the dog park, I went and I bought a Snickers bar, like, I was like, I just want one." Like, I don't know, I was like,
Just
"I haven't."
'cause.
Yeah, I was like, "I haven't had any, like, candy or sweets or chocolate or anything for, like, so long, and I'm just, like, dying." And I stopped and I got that Snickers bar, and I was like, "Yeah." So then when I was at the park and my friend had Jolly Ranchers, I was like, "Yeah." So then, like, 20 minutes later, everybody was like, I was surrounded by, like, people instead of dogs, and I was like, "Oh, fuck," like, I have to be, like, coherent. And
Gotta pay
they were
attention, honey. You gotta pay attention.
there was a funeral procession that drove by, and it was for a
In a
police
hearse?
yeah,
Okay.
because, like, you know, the dog park is kinda near, like, Victory, it's, like, a big street, and there was a funeral procession, and it was, like, kinda, like, serious, you know? And there was, like, sirens, all this stuff because it was, like, for a police officer. And so I was like, "Oh, fuck," you know, and I'm, like, standing there like, "Oh my god," and somebody said something, and then, like, it was, like, over, and I was like, "Wow, I kind of expected," and, like, somebody looked at me like, "What did you expect?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't finish my sentence." Like, I was like, "Expected more cars?" I was like, "I don't know." Like, I like
That was your response? Your response was expect more car. What kind of fucking response is that? You want like 1,000 people to go to this poor man's
No,
funeral?
it was
Jesus,
just,
or
like, really
woman, or
short.
whatever.
It was just, like, there weren't that many cars that drove by, like, I was like, I don't know, the way it started so intensely and, like, you know, it was just, like, such a big impact, and then it was just, like, gone, and I was like, "Wow, I kinda, like they cleared the road that much." I kinda thought, like, there'd be, like, a big group of cars that would, like, keep driving through, but it was, like, gone, and I was like, "Oh god, I'm so sorry." Um, you know, I don't know, I just didn't finish my sentence, and my friend was like, "Oh, that edible must have hit you." And I was like, "What edible?" And he was like, "The Jolly Rancher." And I was like, "You telling me that wasn't a Jolly Rancher?"
I was gonna say this earlier, but you just kept on talking. I'm like, if a stoner, okay, listen, y'all, listen up. If the
I
stoner gives you,
genuinely thought it
oh,
was
hold
a
up,
regular
hold up,
Jolly
hold up,
Rancher,
hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me finish. Let me finish this point. Let me
'cause
finish
I
this.
never
Okay,
get that lucky
no,
where
no,
people are
no.
just giving me edibles. Go
1 minute.
on.
Go on. This is the number one rule about stonerhood, okay? Like, this is a thing that we all know. Whatever a stoner gives you, fucking candy, brownies, food, I don't give a fuck if it came out of their ass, all right? Any kind of shit they give you, it's laced with fucking cannabis, straight up. What the fuck did you think you were given? You think you were given like a regular Jolly Rancher?
Yeah,
Get,
I did.
oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, stop it.
No, I did because the package had the same exact, like, colors and font and everything, so, like, when I saw him pull it out of his bag, I genuinely thought it was a bag of Jolly Ranchers. Like, I didn't realize that it was, like, some knockoff Jolly Rancher, but then I was like, "Oh, it's okay." You know, like, it's okay.
I love that.
Okay, but then I came home and I, like, crack
Right?
cleaned out my apartment.
Whoa.
Like,
It's good shit. It's good shit.
I've never experienced that on weed. I mean, sometimes, like, weed'll
Honey, you
make
don't
me
know how many milligrams he gave you. You could have been like 300, 400. Like, who
I
knows?
and it
Who
made me clean
knows?
a whole bunch?
Yeah, especially sativa. Like,
It could've
sativa,
been, yeah.
sativa dominant. Sorry. Oh, yeah, sativa dominant 100%. I've had that before. I've had very sativa dominant strains, and
Okay, so
I
think about
was
it.
crazy cleaning. Like, I had once, I cleaned my apartment for 4.5 hours. This was before my knee injury. 4.5 hours just cleaning. Oh, this is crazy.
He goes, "What are you doing later today?" I go, "I have a podcast."
Never happened, but yeah,
And it didn't happen.
didn't happen.
He goes, "What's your podcast about?" And I was like, "It's a stoner podcast."
Whoa, he's coming on. Okay, what's his name? Let's get his number. We'll do
It's
this off air.
Corinne. Corinne is cool. He's really neat. He's a
I'm
cool
getting another
guy.
stoner. I'm getting another stoner on the podcast. Stay tuned, everybody. Very exciting.
You
Somebody I
met
work with.
Yeah, you met somebody at the guitar shop that you were gonna bring on our You have to tell your guitar story. Am I done with my story? I think so. I just wanted
Wait,
to point out
okay.
that the Red Bull made me take a nap and the
Yes,
edible made me clean. That's all I wanted to say
that's
about how
it.
strange yesterday was, but
I,
I wanna know about your day too.
but I will say this: we do now have a pod clip, so
You're gonna use it.
I'm going to use that as the pod clip. What
We
happened?
could use so many things as a pod clip.
So
I
many
can't believe
things.
we've only been recording for 20 minutes.
It's incredible. And this is the thing about repetitiveness and continuation. We've been doing these recordings over and over again. And the thing about progress is that we fuck up at the beginning and then we get better as we continue. To add to that, yesterday I went to the guitar store where there's a really cool place here in Fort Lauderdale. They're called Penny Lane Emporium. They offer
Penny
lessons as well.
Lane.
Penny Lane, Penny Lane. They offer lessons, and they also sell guitars, banjos, like you name it. They sell a bunch of instruments. And I went there to get my guitar restrung. And when I was there, I asked the person about a new. What? Hello there. Are you still alive? Yoo-hoo!
I don't
What
think you can
happened?
hear me, right?
No, I couldn't hear you, but I was like,
That's the
oh,
whole point. I'm
I
like
know.
coughing like crazy. I muted my mic so you could talk.
It's all right. I had to comment on that situation specifically.
Sorry, go on. No, I mute my
So
mic a lot when Louie's like being crazy, or like when I have to like sneeze,
I
or
never
like,
noticed it though. And then I noticed it
did you
this
notice
time.
that time?
I
My
noticed this
mom,
time.
I do it on the phone with people too. I'll mute my phone
Really?
when I'm
I
like,
never knew this. Now I
yeah,
know this.
when I
Wow.
cough a lot or when I have to pee, I just mute my phone.
Can I tell you a little secret? I do that too.
You have to finish your story
Oh
though.
yes, I'm sorry. I'm
Who
sorry. Sorry.
doesn't
Sorry.
do that?
Hey, I
Everybody.
know. So, when I was in the guitar store, I asked the guy that I wanted a new guitar.
Oh, you
Um,
came right out. You did. Yeah, you came right out. You were like,
Came right out. Like I've
you
been
went there to get strings. You said there was something going on with your guitar,
well,
the
I
neck
haven't got
and the strings and problems, and I don't know.
well, it's just the strings. It's because I haven't had this guitar restrung since last year. It's been about a year since I've had it. Um,
That's
that's
a
why
long ass time.
I know, and they lasted for that long, and I should have got it done earlier, but whatever. I got it done, and the guy that was there, I explained to him like the kind of music I like and what I'm looking for. So he showed me this guitar. It's called the Alvarez something CD70. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but it's an Alvarez guitar. They let me hold it and play it for a little bit. And the woman that was there is really sweet. She's a singer and also a guitarist. Uh, she said, "We have an isolation booth. Do you want to go out there and try out the guitars? Because they had a cheaper version that they want me. She offered, and I tried it. And it was also really great. So then I went to the.
You had me at isolation booth.
Oh, it was amazing. I went in there and I held that guitar, and the weight of the neck, the body, the feel. I was like about to cry because I never have been able to play an instrument my entire life. And 2 years ago, I decided to take guitar lessons. And I know how to play guitar to a certain extent, but just to hold that beautiful instrument. And I said I wanted to get it. So it's on layover currently because I can't afford it in full. But I got a new guitar.
Are
Yeah.
you gonna give her a name? Him? It? They?
Um, I thought about it yesterday.
No name.
No, I feel like the name will come once.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna take
'Cause
about 9 months.
Yeah, because this one's Bessie. That's Bessie. It's my guitar. My guitar
Mm.
teacher named her.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always had, I mean,
We
I
need
was
one more yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
earlier, well, I had to go way, way back to the beginning of your story, like, in my mind for my question. The the person that was talking to you about what type of guitar you were looking for asked you what what type of music you like in order to get an idea of what type of guitar you would like. But you ended up buying an acoustic guitar when a lot of the music that you listen to is on an electric guitar, but a lot of the music that you want to play is more of an acoustic vibe. For me, it had always been really hard trying to decide between an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar. An electric guitar being amplified, I felt no privacy. I don't know, like, it felt more like there's 3 people involved, like me, the guitar, and the viewer, which I guess there's always gonna be people, the guitar's a person, but, like, with an acoustic guitar, it just naturally kind of amplifies itself, so almost someone hearing it is unintentional. It's not as, like, direct, like, "Hey, listen to me." It's like, "Hi, I'm playing. Do you happen to hear me?" Which I think is really peaceful and beautiful. I really like an acoustic guitar, and when I played guitar back in high school, I had to choose which guitar I wanted, and I
Right.
chose an electric guitar because that was the type of music that I listened to. But I think that an acoustic guitar would have been a better choice for me to learn on and practice with and develop, like, my own type of, like, I don't know. So I still
I
even
mean,
have an electric guitar, but not an acoustic, you know?
let's try this one more time, and I'll just as an example. You tell me if you can hear the guitar. If not, we'll move on.
I think I could hear it earlier when you were playing it.
I think so too. You tell me.
It's been kinda cold.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. I got my. See, this is how silly I am when I'm high. I had my headphone cord right on top of the neck. Sorry.
Can you hear Louis drinking water?
No.
You can't?
But the point is, acoustic guitar allows you to feel the music in all types of in all direction, meaning the actual physical feel with your fingers and the feel that comes out of the bass of the guitar. I chose acoustic because I wanted to be in nature with the instrument at its rawest element that you
Yeah.
get from the acoustic. Um, but I do prefer music that has electric guitar more than
Yeah.
acoustic. Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. I I I don't know. I really enjoy an acoustic guitar. I had a boyfriend in high school. Well, I had 2 boyfriends in high school that were
Who
really
didn't?
good. Well, I mean, they were genuinely good at playing
Whoa.
guitar. Like,
Not like me.
well, you're good, but I'm saying, like, for a high schooler, they actually had talent.
Damn.
Um,
That's a skill.
yeah, I mean, I think both of them had well, they were friends, and I dated both of them without even really knowing that they knew each other. I don't know, but they both kind of had this, like, interesting relationship with the guitar, both an
Okay.
acoustic guitar, without knowing this about each other. They didn't even know that they had this similarity, but they both spent a lot of time, like, alone and a lot of time, like, picked on by their older sibling and, kind of, like, went to the guitar as, like, a friend, as, like, a person to hang out with, as a thing to do, you know? I mean, like, I feel like he didn't have anyone to hang out with or was afraid to hang out with people or, there was nobody else around, but the guitar was always around. And so they practiced a lot and got really, really good over time. I knew a couple people like that, honestly, not just these 2 guys that I can think of. Like, I knew some
Oh,
people who were really introverted and spent this time, like, with the guitar, and it was like their friend.
right.
And it's an amazing skill.
Tyan, I was talking to you yesterday and how I felt that I'm in a lot of debt.
You sure are.
I'm in a lot, yeah, and I'm really working on getting out of it. And
Yeah.
I definitely did that with my decision yesterday, but I don't know. I feel that it's time. I really want to develop my skills more, even though I don't publish any of it, and I don't really, you know, do anything. But it's beneficial for me mentally. It's helped me a lot. It's gotten me through very dark times, Harry. Very dark times. Um,
When do you think, like, you saw somebody, like, playing a guitar when you were, like, a kid? Like, when did you see that?
it's a great question. I think the first time I ever saw somebody playing guitar was at a wedding.
Yeah.
But I think the first time I really experienced somebody play guitar was when I was in high school. There's somebody that I knew, and I'm not going to mention because they're not alive anymore. Um, they played guitar. Oh my god! And I remember like it was, these were like people that kind of like came from the street, and we kind of congregated in like community center, to hang out. Um, just the way he played the guitar, and that's actually how I got the like thought of like the premise of what's going on, like what we're talking about today, is "My Guitar Slowly Weeps" by the Beatles. That like
Yeah,
"My guitar slowly
gently.
weeps."
He might say slowly, but
Gently,
I think
sorry,
it's usually
gently.
gently.
Um,
It's a good song.
it is,
It's
and
so moody.
but he was playing that with an acoustic guitar, like that rhythm, and it moved me.
Yeah, that song is really stupid good.
But do you want to know? Do you want to know how the Beatles became so good? And Paul talked about this. He said when they were in Hamburg, Germany, they would work 8 hours a day. They were playing 8 hours a day. Do you understand,
It's
like,
a long time to play,
yeah,
yeah.
that's probably four sets of strings they have to change per day. Four sets of strings per day they have to change. Don't yawn too loud, honey. And when they were done, when they were,
It's so weird, like, if you wanna use this as a pod clip where my eyes are just, like,
Ugh,
fading into my fucking face, like, I look like that Simpsons meme right now.
I feel that way
I do,
too.
like, I'm like,
I
"What just
do.
happened?"
I
Like,
don't know.
"This thing's way too bright, like, bye."
No, I can't even see you anymore. Like you're just a dark
I will turn
shadow
it back
within me.
on once my eyes are okay, like, you don't understand, like,
I love
I need
this.
sunglasses right now.
Oh my god.
Imma put sunglasses on the podcast.
This is real. This is like not even scripted or recorded. This is just happening right now.
I'm
But
sorry.
getting back to like I
There.
I feel like even though it's a lot of money for me right now, it's a really great guitar and I can't wait to get it. Um
No judgment, man. I
and
I think that it's a good decision. Yesterday, I was like, "Go back, buy more."
I actually called them up and I'm gonna go there on Monday to change out the order so I can get where I could plug it in for an extra
Yes.
$100. Yeah. She's like, just do it.
Yeah.
And then and then I can get like, a strap eventually, like a strap that I can put over, and like wear my thick jeans. Yeah.
Uh, my the 2 boys that I dated in high school, one had a bunch of money and the other one was really poor.
Wow.
And the
Doesn't
one
sound
that
like a
had a
Prince and a Pauper story that came straight out of the Ramones.
the one who had a bunch of money, he had an acoustic guitar that would plug in. And it was really, really interesting, and I was always, like, mesmerized by it, like, I was like, "Oh," and it, like, had, like, this little digital, like, thing on, like, the top of it with, like, settings and, like, different shit, and then the poor kid just had this, like, acoustic guitar, you know? That's why I was like, "Turn
Boring.
around." I was like, if it's just on credit, who gives a fuck? Like, I was like, seriously, $100 more? I was like,
They were
you could
really
plug it into your computer. It sounds really fun.
no, they were really awesome, and the best, like I said, like the best part about it was I was actually able to like feel the guitar. Like I knew that I want this to be my next baby. You know, it's that's something you don't really get in a lot of music shops, I'll be honest, these days. You know, it's a lot of like sell, sell, sell. They were very much like, no, 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 no. Like, you know, like tell us, like, what do you need? Like, what's missing? Like, what's going on? Like, what do you. I was really happy with that. And I feel a lot more comfortable with what I did. I don't feel guilty. You know, I feel like it's accomplishment in a way, like something to like work towards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it'll make you a better guitar player for sure.
Honey, it is sexy. Oh, honey, girl, it is a sexy, sexy guitar. And its name is Alvarez.
Oh, is that the name of the guitar?
Now it's called Alvarez. The name of the company is Alvarez.
I know, but what if that was the name of your guitar?
Alvarez?
Oh.
I mean, sure.
It's an idea, okay?
Ooh, or we can do Alverio.
Or Ramon.
Ramon. Ooh, I like Ramon. Ooh,
Ooh.
Ramon. Ramono. Ramono.
Ramono.
Ramono.
Ramon. Ramon is a
Shana
lot
na
like
na na na
Timon.
na. What?
Ramon is a lot like Timon.
Like Timon and Pumbaa?
Yeah.
That's one song I would love to learn on a guitar eventually. One day.
Hakuna Matata?
Yes, fuck yeah.
On a guitar? I've never even thought about what it would be like.
Hakuna Matata. Dun, 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 dun. I would
How
have
hard
to.
can it be
It would
to learn
probably.
Hakuna Matata?
I could check right now. I would
Bum, bum,
probably.
ba-da-da.
It's maybe about. You could check if you want to. I think it's about like 3 or 4 chords on a guitar. I think so. You want me to check? Would you? Would
Yeah,
you?
it can't be that bad, Hakuna Matata. I remember I sent you, like, a Beatles song, and you were like, "Girl, did you pick the most complicated one?" I was like, "Yeah,
They're very
probably."
complex. They're very complicated. That's the thing about a lot of Beatles songs are, except like their earlier works, is a lot simpler.
Yeah, so maybe one day we'll cover Hakuna Matata, and we'll have to pick if I am Pumbaa or if you are Pumbaa, or if I am Timon or you are Timon. I bet one is like the higher voice and one is the lower voice. Um, is Pumbaa lower or is Timon? Timon's higher, right?
No, Pumbaa is
They're probably
lower.
both low.
No,
It's
but
probably like
Timon is a meerkat. He has a higher, kind of
is
like
it
New
a
Jersey. You
tenor and
know,
a bass? Is my guess is
yeah,
that
tenor
Timon
and a
are too
bass.
low,
Yeah.
just too low voices, probably. Yeah, I don't know. You and I covering Hakuna Matata.
I'm trying to search this right now.
This is what
Ooh,
happens when David and I hang out on the phone. We like have these like weird ideas and then we kind of like follow them through for like a little bit. I see these like TikTok videos where they explain like what it's like for people who have ADHD, and I think this is
okay.
maybe one of them where like you and I will have like an idea and then we like carry it out for like quite an extended period of time.
So this is you would need you need 2 guitars to do this. I'll tell
Oh
you why.
no.
Because you'd need a capo. It would be a B, an F, and a G. No, a G. I'm sorry. And a G minor on the 3rd fret. This
Yeah,
is
but
complete.
can't you
This
just
is
play
complete
one
gibberish.
part of it? Gibberish. What?
No, I'm saying gibberish wise of like they don't show. This just shows like for one guitar. I'm like, bro, this is like pure rubbish. You can't.
I know things are so much easier to like play on the piano, like when it comes to like picking up
Um,
a book.
I mean,
But
it's kind of similar. I mean, with piano, it's a G minor, a D, a C, an F.
I used to have music books. Like that was one thing that I used to love doing when I played guitars. I would like buy a new
Do you want me to play the chords? I could play them for you.
play Hakuna Matata.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to.
I see a YouTube video that does a play along with, I mean we can't play it, but it's a Hakuna Matata guitar tab play along. That could be kind of fun. That's fun, you know. They didn't when I learned to play guitar, we didn't have YouTube like that. I mean, it kind of did, but like not this good where you could just like get on and learn to play along. That's like way too fun.
Okay, so there's a C chord, which would be, I believe. Yeah.
I would love for someone to do a review of this episode and be like, halfway through the episode, they started playing Hakuna Matata. It was terrible.
Okay, so I'm not playing it. I'm just showing you the chords. There's a C, so this would be a C. Not really great at that, but then there would be a D. Okay. What others? Then the ones with the frets I'll show you. Okay, so it's
Look,
the
okay,
third fret.
this is the website that I found, and it just has like some barcodes. Like it shows like an F, a B, a C, a C. I don't know what this is. There's like a G7, an A.
I don't see a G7. I don't see why you would need a G7 here.
Look, I just sent it to you, and it's the Elton John version. That's got to be
Oh
kind of
god.
cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Open it up. Look at it.
Oh my god,
It's only got like 6 chords, and you just do them in a different order. It starts with F.
Okay, so it starts with F, which is.
I mean, I'm the one just. This is kind of like yesterday. I just yell things at you, and you're like, "Oh God, Chris, fine."
Okay, and then it would be. This is a hard chord. This is a hard chord to do.
What is it?
It's called B, but it's called something else. Like it's a B something, but it's basically where you could see my fingers. You see where my fingers are? They're all on this fret right here. So anybody that's watching right now, you could see that. So it would be. I'm having a great time. I don't know about you.
You just gave everyone the finger too, so it was kind of perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not something like this. Okay, and then you have an F, which is this. That's an F. Remember, this is on the 3rd fret, so it's on the neck. You have I forgot what this thingy is. It's a snappy thingy, whatever. And you put it on the fret. And then, but I could technically play this. I could totally.
Look at that part, the verse. Okay, it's the third 1, 2, 3, 4, line 4. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. That one's got like a crazy. It's like C D C G D A G.
Well, it's not hard. Okay, so it's not hard to go from G. It's not hard to go from G major to C, and I'll show you why. Because if you're on, this is G. Yeah. No, wait. No, my apologies. I'm on the wrong one. This is G. Right? And then if you want to go to C, is it C? C would be. Okay, you see where my fingers are? And then you could just go right up to here. I'm not playing the song, okay? I'm just showing you what the chords look like and what they sound like. So
I can just you could match the tone of the guitar really well with my gross little sound. But, that's the sound of a little elf or like a nymph in the woods.
But in all seriousness, though, like that would kind of give it an idea of like what doesn't sound like Hakuna Matata because I wasn't playing it. but it would kind of give you a sound of like what it would be like on acoustic. I would say the best experience to do this would be getting a 12-string guitar, get two acoustics like this. You plug them up to an amp. You get a campfire out there. You get somebody that's on a, singing. You have somebody on a microphone, and then you do it like that. I think if you do it that way, maybe get like a drummer also. It might give it a little bit more balance. I don't feel like this is a song you could just play with one instrument.
Oh,
No, you just can't. It just doesn't work that way.
I feel like if I knew how to play really well, I could just kind of like, play something that was like generally close to it and people could kind of sing along if I knew what I was doing. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of guitarists, like, they can just kind of like match notes and then like go up and down from there and kind of mimic us like
Well, okay, so
a
it
basic
depends.
song
So
if
that
they're
So that depends on the type of song that you're dealing with, because I'll tell you why. I could pull out my guitar, for example, again, which I maybe shouldn't, but um, there are what's called cowboy notes. So the first 3 or 4 frets, where there's G major, D minor, F major, E, all of these different chords that a lot of country songs, especially like outlaw and western, have those notes in there. That's why you can get artists that or guitar players, musicians that can play those songs, because they're just made out of those different chords.
yeah.
But when you're dealing with something like Hakuna Matata, which is made by Disney, they have an entire composer, a whole team of instruments. No, I'm serious. That
No,
come
I just
in.
love that we're like being all serious about Hakuna Matata. Like, it's just
It's a
amazing.
beautiful, like, it's an amazing movie. It made our fucking childhoods. Like, come on, we both grew up with that.
Uh,
Suvenya, and I was like, whoa, Manique is hot. Like, it was so cool. Yeah, we're totally butchering African culture, but it's okay.
I am not. I was just
I
trying to
am
sing a
too.
song. Good
Me
lord.
too. Do you know that they actually hired a team? I believe they were from Kenya or I think Kenya, to do the songs, like the song you hear at the opening, to really like tie in the African culture, because it was done in Sahara. Like even like the colors and the landscape.
It was really pretty.
It was a beautiful. And then they butchered it with that fucking shit they made in 2019. But anyway,
What
I
shit
hate.
did they make in
They made a
2019?
live action version of The Lion King.
What were the lions like?
They were. They looked real ish.
I don't remember this.
Nobody should remember it. No one should remember that there was a live action version of The Lion King. It makes no sense.
I absolutely love that everything was so wonderful in my life at that time
Same.
that the death of a lion that I didn't know was horrible.
I cried.
Yeah, I am just
Cried.
so happy that, like, there wasn't, like, so much devastation around me that I didn't care about that lion that I didn't know. Like, I'm so happy that everything was good enough for me that was what was the worst, was, like, seeing this lion die. Like, I was like, "Oh, I can't watch it." Like, we had, like, a little bit of, like, a heads up. Like, somebody told us, they were like, "Oh, there's this really bad part where you're gonna cry." And I was like, "I don't know if I wanna watch it," Like, it was, like, kinda scary.
Let me tell
They're
you a
like,
story
"Yeah."
I had when I was a kid. I remember the first time I watched Bambi. N-
Ooh.
Now, Mac was the one that allowed me to watch Bambi for the first time. Now, Mac didn't know this, okay? And basically, Dina was there at the time. This is when they were in New York, when they were living in Rockland County. And I came out of that room. Dina's my witness. Balls crying. Like I was screaming. Dina called up Mac. She's like, Mac, your brother, he watched Bambi and he's just like all emotional. I don't know what to do. And it was crazy. But
Oh my god, you've known Dina that long. It's so
I've known
cute.
Dina since I was a kid. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's like my brother-in-law, like, he's known me since I was, like, I don't know, in, like, 4th
Well,
grade.
Dina babysitted me when I was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
quite
really
a few
good of
times.
her. That's
Mhm.
really sweet. I was thinking about when I first met them, it was, like, so long ago. Like, yeah, it was a long, long time ago. But,
That was like my experience though with like those Disney movies. Because let's be honest, they kind of like scared the fuck out of us as kids.
yeah, there was a lot
Like
of
what?
scary stuff, which is funny because, like, they're, like, the cleanest of clean fun, you
Hmm.
know? And then, like, it's like, oh, like, they really terrified me, like, quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know, and the fact that I would just kind of, like, easily agree to whatever their story was. Like, "Yeah, okay." You know, like, I'm
Cool.
like, "Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, cool." Um, but I think when they played Bambi for me, they skipped the beginning. So,
Whoa.
I never knew that there was even a Bambi mom, you know, that died. So,
Damn.
I just thought it was a story about a Bambi little,
You never watched
you
Old
know,
Yeller,
deer.
did you?
Yeah, I think I've seen what you're talking about. No, I was, like, super protected, and then they had me, like, watch, like, the same movies over and over and over again. Like, I watched Annie and The Wizard of Oz, like, a billion times, and then there's probably, like, a couple other movies too.
Oh boy. Well, my parents were a little bit less
I watched all
ortho.
the Disney movies too, you know, but
I did. I watched all Disney movies. I wasn't really allowed to watch The Little Mermaid because it was considered inappropriate, but I watched it several times and I loved it as a kid because the character I always loved was like Ursula. Ursula was
ugh,
like my favorite
I
character. And the
still hate
reason
her. Go on. Sorry.
Ursula was like the very first drag queen ever in a Disney film. Ursula was based off of Divine, which was a drag queen. And I loved Ursula because of her look. You know, she was just like this seductive, dark. You know, you could definitely see this broad like performing at 4 o'clock at night.
I
You
mean,
know,
I like drag queens. And, like,
that was my first
her
introduction, to be honest. Like that literally was as a 5 year old.
but Ursula would identify as female. Ursula is not anyone in
No, she's
drag.
not, but she was based off of a drag queen. That was my point.
Yeah. I just feel like Ursula, like, by me saying that I hate Ursula, I'm not saying that I don't like Divine or drag or anything like that, or that I find drag terrifying, but
You don't have to defend yourself, honey. You're
I find
entitled to your
Ursula
opinion.
terrifying. I find Ursula nightmare quality. She's terrifying. Um, I was, like, incredibly picked on as a child is, like, a nice word for it, abused.
Oh yeah, very nice term. There's plenty of other nicer words
Picked
you could
on.
use.
Picked on is
Yeah.
a nice word for
Oh yeah, for
abuse.
sure. 100%. Yes.
And so I think as a child would often connect the evil character to whoever was hurting me in my life at that time.
Whoa.
And so Ursula was really extra scary to me because she had, like, these, like, supernatural powers, basically. Like, she could, like, take things from one place and put them in one place, and she had this, like, magic, and she was bad. And that, you know, she had power, and she was not gonna use it to help anyone. She's gonna use it for herself, you know? She was scary as fuck to me, man, because she could do even worse things than what I was experiencing. And the idea of somebody having the power that she had to just, like, you know, go beyond what I was experiencing was kinda, like, scary as fuck. Like, I don't know. And to me, it never felt like Ariel won. As much as, like, oh, maybe she married Prince Charming in the end, I kind of feel like she got fucked. Like, I kind of feel like Ariel didn't really win. Like it kind of seems like just like a big, long, brutal struggle that I don't know if it really turned out the way that she wanted.
I feel it's also in many no, and I kind of like remember as a kid the Renaissance films of Disney, even though they were historically inaccurate and they were not true to the stories that they were telling at all, at
Mm-mm.
all. Um, but as a kid, it really opened me up to the arts. I feel that my mom was more understanding towards art because she was an artist herself, and so was my sister. So I was able to experience it more. That's what I loved about those films. And to be very honest, with all the crap and stupidity and garbage that Disney has put out in the past, I don't know, 20 odd years now, I don't care for it anymore. I still hold on to those treasures, but my love for it is completely like I don't look forward to anything they make anymore. Who cares? It's just going to be more trash.
My favorite part in the Ariel movie is before she gets away, before she meets Ursula and she sings the song, about the whatchamacallit, like, and
Part of your world.
she's genuinely curious and she's still within a secure environment. And she has her own little escape area where she's collected all these really beautiful things. So she's started to create a life for herself. I love doing this with stories, like kind of like picking apart like the
It's a
psychology and
hot
like,
topic right now because they're making a new version of The Little Mermaid. So this is a great thing to talk about. Keep going.
well, I think that I really liked that part of the movie because
Hmm.
as a little girl, you want to start like building a little life of your own and you're curious about everything else, and you have this idea of yourself like breaking away and like exploring independence and like accomplishing things without the security of everything that you've grown up with. And so like it starts with like making a collection of your own money, which is like she collected all of her like possessions in that little like weird light tunnel that she swims around inside of.
Very random cave yet thing. It happens
It's
to
beautiful though.
spin
Like the
sphere.
sunlight is like coming down where there's light being shed on her ideas, her future.
It's great. It's a great story. I really appreciated those films. They each one told you a different story as a kid, whether it be historically accurate. Honestly, it's a Disney movie. Who cares? But I just remember every single time I watch those movies, the feelings I get, the chills, the awes, the memories that come back. We both remember when we watched that shit on a VHS on a CRTV.
Yeah, I remember rewinding it. I
Yes.
remember like getting to the end and having to like pop it in and like hit rewind and
Mm-hmm. It was going.
yeah. And like trying to get to like your favorite part over and over again. I remember it like belonged to my sisters and I would ask, if I could watch it and stuff like that and whatever else. It's I can see, I mean, what are people saying about the new Ariel
I mean, a
movie?
lot of people are not happy about it. I mean, I
Why?
because again, for me, it's Disney doing what they're doing best now is just pulling out crap and just trying to be diverse and extremely liberal and accepting and all of this garbage. Again, I'm not belittling it, but I'm being honest. Like, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. Why should they care? It's like, it's not their business to be educators. It's not their job to be there. That's the job of the education system. That's the job of parents taking care of their kids. It's not Disney's job. So there's that point. And the other point is of them constantly changing. Remember, you're talking about how your job, you're looking for work and you're having a hard time finding it. because they're looking for culturally diverse, different, diverse type of people.
And I said I'm not very interesting when it comes to, like, cultural diversity, but
Right.
I mean, I don't think that's, like, completely true. Like, I do have a diverse cultural background.
I
It's
think you
just
do too.
not the same as, I mean, like, I don't have any other type of like, everything's just kind of similar to one another, like Irish, Scottish, French, Welsh. It's all just kind of the same, Scandinavian-ish. Like, it's not really what
A lot of ish.
is interesting at the time. I don't know. It's not the type of diversity that anyone is looking to
But
diversify
but
with
when
at
you
this time.
but when you have a movie, when you have a company like Disney that is making these movies that you can clearly see that they're doing this for an agenda. They're doing it for them to show a message, oh, they're inclusive. They're not doing it out of general craft and creativity. You know why? Because if you ask any artist and creator that makes films, they don't give a fuck what the person looks like.
Doesn't it
Doesn't
make a
matter.
difference that
They
there's a
don't
person of color that agreed to play the character?
that's not it doesn't matter. That's not the argument. The argument is
I'm just
m-
saying, like, is anybody say anything about that person
yeah.
and their choices? Has anybody talked about that?
I don't
Like,
really read into that kind of stuff because I don't want to look into an actor,
it's not
and
my choice either to, like, even, but I'm like, I mean, like, if the person themselves who chose to play that character must agree, at least I would think so, agree with Disney's choices as far as, choosing her as the actress.
I'm assuming so,
So,
yes. Right.
between them, there was an agreement made that made sense. Um, so those 2 parties have agreed that what they are doing is an appropriate thing.
Yeah,
But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I wonder why not come up with more stories that have new characters,
exactly.
um, but
Why
I feel
redo
like
what's
that's
already
been
been
done.
successful? Not necessarily. I mean, there's also bad films that could also be remade. There are new ideas that could be thought up of. There's the fact that we live in a day and age with the amount of things at our fingertips, we can make anything and everything that we want.
I don't have any problem with the new. I think, whatever, like, I know that some people have gotten some enjoyment and, like, happiness out of it. Remember there was that, like, video, that little girl who, like, saw Ariel and she was, like, all happy? Like, that was cool. I don't know, it makes people happy, it makes them happy. I
Right.
never looked at Ariel and thought, "Oh, she looks like me." I never
Right.
felt that way about her.
She's not a real. She's a.
Mhm.
I feel that she is a person that's a representation of what it is to want something different. You want to break the chain.
Hey, you're flirting with the idea of getting away with the stability of your father. You're flirting with the idea of creating your own life and, getting away from the rules. It's a great story. There's a reason it's there. I
Right.
wonder when Disney will realize that they need to stop making all these stories from the perspective of a female character. I don't know if anybody ever realized that there's all these Disney princesses and that it's not exactly neutral in any type of way at all. Like, when are they just going to make stories about just characters? Um, I don't know. I feel like, because I feel like a lot, maybe, I mean, maybe it's just as enjoyable for a young man, a boy, to watch the stories, but isn't it strange that you don't have just as many stories? I mean, I feel Toy Story was really good. But Toy Story is from the story of the toys, the perspective of the toys. But at least you have male characters. It is interesting because I think a lot of times people complain about how the stories are always about boys, stories are always about boys. But then in Disney, we have a core amount about young girls. Um, Stories about female characters. I don't know. It's weird. There's a lot of emphasis on their gender, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
A
And
good story.
I never would have thought about it, you know, because I'm just a girl. I just grew up that way. Like I watched the movies, like whatever. But
Right.
I can't imagine what it would have been like to grow up and not have that type of connection with Pocahontas. You know, because I did. I felt a really, really deep connection with the character of Pocahontas.
Even though she's not true to any Native American culture nor lore or tribe.
Well, they're not telling the story correctly, but
No.
she is real. And there were certain things that they
Left out.
um well, yeah, there's certain things that they left out, but there are certain things that they included that were factual about her.
I
But
mean, let's just explain that she was a child. She was 16.
so was everybody. But
Mhm.
I just like m- I feel like for me that was the character that I connected with the most, and if I was a little boy, I wonder if I would have had the opportunity to connect with a character in that kind of way. If I would have felt comfortable,
Well,
if I,
Disney
you know,
Dis
what it would have been like. I don't know
Disney
what little boys were watching instead.
Disney has tried, like, they made Wreck-It Ralph that came out a few years ago, which was really great.
It was
It
good.
was a really good movie. They came
And then,
out
yeah, you know, Disney's not Harry Potter, but at least Harry Potter feels a lot more like a boy and a girl can get into it just equally as much.
100%.
You know, I like that about
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Things like that, you know, I think it's really beautiful to have something that's just like is it doesn't matter what gender you are. It's
No.
kinda cool. But do you have any other examples?
Um, well, trying to think, what other Disney movies? There was
Toy
Inside Out.
Story, yeah, Inside
Toy
Out, yeah.
I think it was Pixar, but yeah, Pixar and Disney is the same company now. Yeah, Toy Story was definitely one of those that kind of like shaped and changed our childhoods because it kind of showed how an inanimate object can come alive when you're not looking, and they have their own life, and it's
Yeah, we all used to think about it before they made a movie of it, you know,
yeah,
and
we
it was like,
did.
"Oh, like, how
Hell
cute."
yeah! Like as a kid, I was like, "Oh my god, that's exactly what my toys do when I'm not around." And like I would purposely like
Mhm.
put them in the closet so they would have fun.
It's crazy how much imagination we have. Like, and I mean, children just have the wildest imaginations, and that's what they do. They just sit around playing make believe.
All day
And
long,
I
every
think
day.
it's kind of strange that like that's what little humans do is they just play make believe. And like
Right.
at what point does make believe just become lying?
That is in the eyes of the beholder.
And it's like, you know, like at some point you become too old for make believe and you are
Right.
just lying.
Lying straight to your kids, lying, telling them that Santa's coming when you know it's just Aunt Georgina. And Georgina is downstairs drinking all of your schnapps, and she's the one that left the Christmas presents. We all know that. So,
Christmas.
with that, thank you all for joining us.
Beautiful.
Yes, thank you all for joining us today for American Crew. If you love Carissa as much as we do, because who doesn't love Carissa? You can find her on Instagram at Chris the Beautiful. She is a candle maker, pug lover, makeup artist, and fully licensed esthetician. So be sure to check out her work. It is absolutely incredible. And if you want to check out more of the podcast, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Lost of the Groove Pod. So with that, we love y'all. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay groovy, my friends. Adios.
Get lost.
Fuck yeah.